To business. Good evening, everyone. This is Ferdy with Falcon Talk. .kgallophotography.com. Guaranteed that her photography skills are better than her father's martial arts skills. So, so I got reading. I have Samurai Sandy, Mighty Mick, Mr. Duran from Blue Life Karate, and Tom Gallo with Tactics. Good evening, everybody. And yes, Tom is last again. You always show up last. You always show up last. And tonight's topics was inspired by the Mighty Mick. He says, "You don't suck. Your Sifu sucks, or your Sifu, your sensei, your teacher, your grandmaster, whatever you want to call them, they suck." So I'm going to give it to Mick, and you take it away, my friend.
So what I created years ago was a T-shirt with a middle finger in the center of it, and it says the Up Yours Fighting Method. You don't suck, your Sifu does.
Hey, I want that T-shirt.
So I actually have it attached to my bob right now, so when I do my Zoom classes, that's the first thing people see. Mm-hmm. So the idea behind that is, you get these guys, like I had a kid just last week, I'm going through my back doors. Any of us here training in the back room where no one can see us? I'm one of those. Young 13-year-old gentleman comes to my class and tells me, "Hey, I'm a black belt in martial arts." He can't even throw a jab across. So that's where the whole idea of "you don't suck, your Sifu does," because it's not the student's fault that they got bad knowledge. It's the guy who's teaching them bad knowledge, and that gives us a rewind to where we spoke a few weeks ago, or about belt factories. So it all kinds of ties into what we've been talking about for the past, I don't know, month or two. Yep. So when you see a totally terrible martial artist, is it the guy? Is it his own personal training? Is it his terrible teacher? Is it both of them together? I mean, come on now, where are we going with this?
Now, how are we talking the teacher sucks? I mean, are we talking the teacher sucks where he himself is a good martial artist and he just doesn't.
No, we're talking about Fury teaching a kid.
Fist of Fury. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a point that I wanted to make out also with what Sandy. It's like, are we talking about the skill level of the teacher? Are we talking about the teacher's teaching methods? Are we talking about he just wants to collect a fee, a testing fee?
Let's just go with all the above. Are they actually a qualified teacher? Can they do the material but not preach the material? So that means there's a bad connection between student and teacher.
Okay, let's go. Yeah, we are going on a tangent. Let's go back. Okay, let's get back on topic, kids.
So you could also say that the student sucks. I mean, I've had people I've trained that are just like a wall. No matter what you do to them, they just don't get it.
Yeah.
And
yeah, but you're not like
in general.
You're not like promoting them even if they don't they don't get okay, because I think that's kind of like what Mick is saying is like, oh, you're a black belt, but you can't do shit, so it's not really your
well, let me tell you how this all originated. Mm-hmm. So
tell us.
Let me think. Hold on. Let me get in my studio seat position. There we are.
Story time.
Yes, I put the glasses on and look myself in the mirror. So, anyway, about 10 or so years ago, we're at the Wednesday night group annual meeting where everybody comes from all around the world for the Jeet Do stuff. And one of my dearest brothers is a Taekwondo instructor. And I used to mess with him all the time and say, you know what, you're teaching these guys Taekwondo and not Jeet Do. So I used to say to them all the time, you don't suck, your Sifu does.
You mean take one's dough? Take one's dough.
Yeah. Well, this particular take one's dough, we'd all love to learn from because he's got 300 students in one and 150 in another school.
Isn't that amazing?
See, that doesn't mean he's a good martial artist. That makes him a good businessman.
He is a phenomenal martial artist. But the problem with his people were doing was they were bringing their Taekwondo skills to a Jeet Kune Do setting where it's two different worlds at that time.
So he was not emptying his cup.
So yeah, no, exactly. So that's where this whole idea, you know, the up yours fighting method, you don't suck, your Sifu does it. That's where it comes from. It all came from a stemming joke to one of my dearest friends. So, but I do have some great T-shirts.
Oh, cool.
So,
you guys want T-shirts? You can email me, and I'll get your orders to Mick.
No. When we get together, if I still have a box of them, we'll hand them out.
Yeah, I'm trying to sell them online for you, brother.
All right. Okay, yes.
Trying to make money for you.
Send Fer to your email.
Yeah.
He was promoting it to his 1.5 listeners.
Exactly.
Yes. I have the shirts are special. They're one size fit all.
You know, it says like, well, you know, we joke like I have 2 viewers now, but usually because I leave this up, and sometimes I come back and I got like 50 views, I got 60 views, I get, you know, so.
We want 1,500. Gosh darn it!
Damn it.
All right. So anybody else have an opinion on this? Hello. Hello.
That's what I was hoping Duran would come in at.
See, like I was thinking on a different level where where like there's a teacher who actually has skill, and he teaches students who either don't understand the skill, or I've actually been in a situation where he's taught students who can do it themselves, but they cannot teach for nothing, or they have no understanding of why or how they're doing it. They just can do it, and to me that makes the teacher not such a great teacher because.
You can't recognize the problem.
Yeah, exactly. You know? So, that in itself, I mean, like I said, I've known an incredible martial artist, and his student could take that art and he could run with it, but when he tried to teach it, nothing. Had no understanding of how to show it to other people.
Is anybody else getting that background feedback of like,
yeah, I'm getting it.
I am.
I'm getting it.
I swear to God, guys, I'm not driving. I'm sitting in my living room.
You're not in the trunk?
I'm not in the trunk this time. Been there, done that.
So you have instructors that can do and can't teach. You have instructors that can't do but can teach. And then you have people that just suck.
Yeah.
Well, you know, that's like the I might have said this to you before. Sifu Taken, you said to me one time, there's 3 types of martial artists: the one who can do it, the one who can speak it, and then the one who can do both. So if you can't speak it and do it at the same time, I don't consider you the instructor. You know,
well, that's when you speak it. That's communicating and expressing it. You know, communicating to your students. Now, some people say that just you can't equate a good martial artist to a good teacher. Okay, now, like I always said, that if there's one person I would have wanted to like train under, it would have been Tatang Estrissimo. But from the stories I heard, he was really not a great teacher. And one story I heard was that there would be 5 students, and each one was assigned a body part. Like you watch his right arm, you watch his right leg, the other person watches his left leg, the other person watches his left arm. And then one student will go and do an attack, and then they'll see what Tatang does, and then and then they'll put all their notes together, and that's kind of like how they they learned. Now, Tom, you'll remember the story that Mark Wiley told us. Yeah, Mark Wiley told us when he went, because I asked him like, how was it to study under Tatang, to go and train under Tatang. And so Tatang told him to strike him, right? And he did a number 1 strike, and Tatang did something, right? And he said, all right, do the strike again. He did the same strike, Tatang did something else. And then he said, do it again. And he did the same strike, and Tatang did another response. And he was asking Tatang, how come you responded differently? And Tatang said, well, the first time you struck, your left foot was in front. The second time, your right foot. And then the third time, your left hand was here. And it was like, he could teach. And maybe part of the problem also But then teachers, and Tom and I had this discussion one time, that could bad martial artists be good teachers? And I know one guy
That's called a con man.
who's a terrible martial artist, but he can convey his thoughts. He can teach, and what he taught was was garbage, but his students could he could communicate with his students. He was really good at that. But he still sucked.
Salesman then.
Oh, he was a very good salesman. Very good. He was very good at sales.
Yeah, but he sold them to get into the school, but he was able to produce quality martial artists.
No, he wasn't able to produce quality martial artists.
You just said he did.
Because the martial arts sucked.
You just said he was able
No,
to
I just said that he was able to communicate and teach, but what he taught wasn't good.
Oh, you didn't say that.
No, you didn't understand it. Okay, but and he's also he was very good salesman and businessman, and he has over 200 students.
Tom, press 1 for English.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what word he speaks in.
My first instructor used to tell, he would see a student at a tournament being chewed out by their instructor if they messed up in whatever, a kata or in sparring, and if the instructor was chewing them out like, you screwed up, I can't believe you did that, he would go up to him and he'd pretty much say, you're not a bad martial artist, your teacher's bad. And that's how he would recruit new students, because in his mind, if your student can't do what you're trying to teach them, you got to figure out another way to teach it to.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if your instructor's yelling at you that you're messing up what they showed you, then that instructor didn't show you in a way you could understand. So, that to me, that's another bad.
You have to have 5 or 6 different ways of explaining things, because not everybody learns the same way.
That's true.
And not everybody reads your mind. My students are actually reading my mind finally.
Yeah.
Definitely, because you have the different ways of learning. If you
are they playing grammar police when they read your mind?
I'm sorry, what?
It's like coloring within the lines or out of the lines.
Yeah.
I actually had an instructor who used to say to me, and I truly believe this, 25% of your knowledge of a technique is when somebody teaches it to you. Another 25% of your knowledge of the technique is when you physically do it. And the remaining 50% comes when you teach it to somebody else and they successfully understand it. Because you have to get an understanding of that entire technique to be able to teach somebody else to do it.
Yes.
And
I have to 100% agree with that. And let me ask you guys that when you guys teach your students, do you teach them in the way that's the way you would like to have learned? Like that technique. This is the way I would have liked to learned it. That's the way I teach it.
I give them the A and B scenario. I show them the A scenario. This is how I learned it, but this is what works for me. So I give them the B scenario, and then they all have the option of the C scenario. I showed them the original way. I showed them my way, and now if they create their own way, now I have 3 different ways to do it. Mm-hmm. So I give everybody their own ploy on how it works.
Well, that's isn't that kind of like the spirit, the gist of Jeet Kune Do is not making it being a taking everybody takes a technique and that's the cookie cutter thing, right? And they try to fit into the technique instead of making the technique fit.
So it's basically the simple done right has no counter. You know what I mean? So you make it simple. You don't make it hard. That's what organized despair meant. That's what he meant by organized despair. Mm-hmm. If you read the Tao of Jeet Kune Do, Bruce talks about the organized despair, and that's like a flowery technique. It's an overabundance of movements where it's wasted time.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So don't.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You were in the middle.
I forgot what I was going to say now.
It was about 30 in his.
We're doing flowery technique.
Don't get me started, Tom. Don't get me started.
Stop getting excited, Tom. Okay, let's stick on to the topic. Okay.
What do we do? We're teaching martial art and art. You're making artists, right? So when someone learns, say, to paint, they learn different brush strokes, different paint types, different techniques, and then they become artists by taking what they learn and
making it their own. Yeah, exactly.
I don't make artists. I make fighters.
So fighters and artists. So next topic.
Yeah.
So
No.
so you're making people, you're teaching people, you're instilling them in, you're giving them a skill, and now you don't want to create clones. We definitely don't want more mixed. And they become their own person. They become their own person using what you taught them. And if they suck, you say, I never heard that guy, never heard of him. But if they're really good, you say, yes, he's my student. So they're becoming their own martial artists, right? You know, you're teaching them, you give them a skill set. So you're teaching them how to kick ass. Can I say that on Facebook?
Yeah. Hey, it's my show. You can say it.
All right.
There's a difference between live training and training for success. He trains for success because he wants you have to follow his lead and follow his way and do his way. So that's what we call training for success.
AKA comply.
Yes, you have to comply to understand what you're doing at first before we add in the real stress. So that's why we say train for success. You know what's coming. You know what I'm going to do. Mm-hmm. Don't fight it so you can learn it. Yeah, but then later on in time, when I add the real stress and you can't effectively work through it, that means you don't suck. I do, because I didn't show you correctly. So.
See, no, that's not how that's not how his student would teach. His student would teach so that they would be stressed in the situation while you were learning.
Right.
All right. No. Oh wait. He taught people at different levels. Like this is the thing about him that I couldn't stand in is why he ended up with students who could do the art but couldn't teach it. He taught at your level, so if
all right. Hold on, Sandy. Hold on, Sandy. Do we want to talk about this live or do we want to talk about this off air?
I don't really care.
Let's do this off air.
Care.
Let's do off air.
All right.
Okay. I'm going to sign off. Thank everybody for all 2 people for watching. I know that there will be more people there, and I have a cool topic for next week. I'm not going to reveal it now. I'm going to talk to you guys off the air, but we'll see you guys next week. Same Falcon time, same Falcon channel.